Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Dead $8 short video. As in, it should have been yesterday, and I'm always a dollar short. That's not true. I'm not always a dollar short. So hopefully you guys are here this morning. You can get this kicked off properly. One thing I wish is that I wish the Android app YouTube or whatever and my desktop YouTube would all sync together. I mean, that would make it so much easier. Because I set these up on the YouTube app, or on the desktop YouTube, and then I record them on my cell phone, only because I have yet to figure out how to record them on my computer. If I could figure out how to record them on my computer, I wouldn't use my cell phone. If I could figure out how to use my 4K camera and plug it in for a live, I would do that. But nobody seems to be necessarily helpful in this area. Everybody wants to closely guard their own little trade secrets, and they don't want to share anything with anybody because they don't want anybody to, be one up on anyone else. So, kind of learn while you burn method is how that goes. So I'm waiting for YouTube to kick up here. I'll give you, first off, I want to talk about my wife. I think most of y'all know that she suffered a cardiac arrest. Now, I didn't know really what that meant until it happened to her. You hear the term heart attack all the time, and essentially a heart attack is when your heart, for one reason or another, or for many reasons, decides it doesn't want to work right anymore. It doesn't want to pump the blood properly, or whether it stops beating altogether, or it just doesn't beat fast enough, or for whatever reason you have a heart attack. Now that's different than a cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest, especially in my wife's condition or situation, was when her brain literally told the heart, stop working. It just shut everything off. The brain said, we're done. We're not going to work anymore. And so she stopped breathing. Her heart stopped beating. The whole nine yards. She literally was, she passed. She was dead. She had died right there in the car in the emergency room, taking her to the hospital. And anyhow, they performed CPR on her. She was out for at least 10 minutes. You don't have an exact time to say exactly how long she was without oxygen. And I literally watched her take her last dying breath, her voluntary breath. And it's quite, it's something else, man. They're really pulling your heartstrings. That are really, I broke down. I lost it. Obviously, I watched my wife die. So anyhow, through the miracles of modern science and the diligence of the medical team, they were able to bring her back to life. I don't know. She stopped. Her heart stopped beating. Oh my gosh, she literally was dead. Let's turn this off here so that you can hear how much time frame I'm behind on. So anyhow, through the miracles of modern science and the diligence of the hospital team, the doctors and nurses that worked there, they were able to revive her. They were able to get her heart working again. They were able to get oxygen pumping through her body again. They had to intubate her, which is where they put a hose down into your lungs to make you to be able to breathe. And so she was in coma for one day. She was in what's called a vegetative state. And again, these are all things I had to learn only through the process of all of this happening. And it's not, I don't, man, I pray that nobody ever has to go through this on your end, man. It's really rough. And when she came to, after 3 days from the moment she had her cardiac arrest, she came back. She opened up and she was able to open up her eyes and was able to nod yes and no and etc. Of course, the fear was brain damage and whether or not her body was strong enough. An interesting fact is that people who suffer from cardiac arrest, 90% of them don't make it. It is a very serious thing. It's literally no joke. 90% of people who have cardiac arrest, that's it. That's the last time that they are with you. And so she's in that lucky 10% who survived the cardiac arrest. And of course, I'm very happy. And I'm trying not to go on too much about this, but obviously it's what's the center focus of my life is. And the best thing to deal with these things is to talk about it. So when she came to, they were very fearful that she wouldn't, come back to us whole and complete. And she was very fragile, and they sat us down and talked about hospice. And hospice care is when you take care of your loved one until their last moments on earth. So that was everything that I was dealing with back at the end of August. And thank God, through her strong-willedness or determination to live, she has started to recover against every single possible odd that you can possibly imagine. I mean, first of all, she had a 1 in 10 chance of even surviving in the first place. And then after that, they told her, told us that we needed to choose the hospice path to, let her pass on because they didn't think she was going to make it. She's in rehabilitation right now, so her brain's rewiring everything. She's able to communicate with us. I mean, her brain from what I'm experiencing with her seems to be 100%. Seems to be just as intelligent, just as aware as she was before the event. It's just a matter of getting everything rewired again in that regard. So I spent all my days with her at the hospital. For the first 2 weeks, I hardly ever left the hospital. I slept and there right beside her the entire time in a little chair there, beside her in the hospital. And so my life's been turned upside down, if you can imagine. But I mean, it's been joyous since then. And I'm sorry to be carrying on about this, but it really is what's on the forefront of my life. And like I said, a lot of you are aware of this, so I'm just giving you an update as to all that. So now once I got that off my chest, I can move on to why you're really here, which is my unboxing video of this Iron Man die-cast Mark 6 Neon Tech MMS523 D29, and to talk about the Mysterio figure. Oh my God. Let's see, we got some chats here. Vincent, hey Siri. Oh my God. Dude, I literally broke down. I literally lost it. I literally just, it's nothing can prepare you for it. I'll say that. That's the best I can say. Nothing can prepare you for it. I've lost pets, I've lost other loved ones, but there's different kinds of love you have for different kinds of people. Your children, you love them one way. Your friends, you love them one way. Your pets, your foods, you love them all. You love them in one way. But when you have a spouse or someone that you deeply care for in an intimate manner, man, that there is no other love like that. And to watch them pass right in front of you, oh man. Absolutely. And that's what I've been trying to do. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, guys. Uh, Thank you, John. South Africa. Wow. That's cool. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Thanks, Rick. Thanks. And yeah, talking to here going on. I should have changed my signal. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't get this over to. I think my Wi-Fi connection actually is stronger than data connection. I don't. No, no, it's not. So I want to go through my data connection. All right. Vincent, thank you very much. Thank God. I understand this. Somebody gave me this impression as I was sharing what was on with my life. I was just creating a fake mismo. Man, I tell you what, this keeps connecting. I may have to literally switch over to the Wi-Fi. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting on me. Oh, my Pulsoon has. Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you. Exclusive version of Battle Damage Mark 85. I did. I ordered both of those, the regular and the exclusive Mark 85. This came from Toys Wonderland. So I'll talk about this real quick. So the Neon Tech Mark 6 first came out in Asia, and then it came out as an SDCC and or something to that effect. I don't remember what the whole process was of it. They wouldn't have any more blah blah blah. We're not going to have. I can tell you right. Supposed to do. If you collect these and they're telling you going to get it, you have to go elsewhere to get it. Then you have to go elsewhere to get it. So I did. A really good seller called Land, and find him online at Toys Wonderland. And so lot of stuff. So if you're trying to a lot of the figures that are so you holy smokes, what a morning. Sorry about all the rocking here, trying to get this just perfect. There. Sorry, looks like I lost everybody. Hopefully you guys will catch up. Anyhow, let's see. Don't know where we were, but I got this from Toys Wonderland, and you can get your if you're trying to catch up on figures, he's got it all, and he gets the new stuff too. And I'm only saying he. I don't know whether it's a he or she or a group of them or a whole company or whatever. But on this, let's talk about Mysterio. WTF on Mysterio. So we love our villains, and Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal. What an amazing character. What an amazing movie that was. And historically, anytime it seems Hot Toys makes a villain figure, for whatever reason, I don't know why it is, but the collectors don't necessarily gobble them up. You can still buy brand new Mandarin. You can still buy brand new Chitaris. So that's one of the reasons I believe that Hot Toys is reluctant to make villains. But we need our villains. I would love to get the Black Order. I would love to get the Vulture. Michael Keaton as the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. Holy smokes, that would be great. The Black Order would be perfect to get those guys. Oh my goodness. I mean, you need the bad guys to have good guys. Simple as that. Got a little crush here. Obviously not from Toys Wonderland, but you know how shippers are. They throw everything. So thank God for all the way that they put these together. But so we've got the Mysterio figure that's been announced. It's coming out in about 2 years. And of course, some of the new collectors, they don't realize that everything comes out in 2 years, unless they've got a figure that they're just like re-releasing. And anyhow, I was pleased to see that. I thought he was a really cool looking figure or character from the movie. And I was like, man, that's going to look great as a figure. And it looks like they are just going to shortchange us in regards to the coolness of it. Now, I really wasn't sure how they were going to do the head in the first place, the fishbowl, Mysterio, smoky effect, as that in a figure. There's really no way you could truthfully capture what it must have really looked like. Obviously, in real life, it didn't look like anything because it was all computer generated, animated. but CGI. But if you would imagine how it would have looked like, this swirling galaxy type dust of smoke effect going around in this fishbowl, that must be really cool to see if you were to see anything like that in real life. And I was like, how would they do that for a figure? How would they do that? So I don't know how they did it, but the pictures look okay. What I don't like, and it seems to be what everyone's complaining about, is this freaking seam that goes right across of it. Really? Come on. Come on. What the hell? A seam? Come on. They need to get with somebody to get that seam fixed. I pray that that's just a prototype and that isn't how it's going to go down. Because if it has that seam on there, I mean, that's like cheesy as all get out. Yeah, I ordered one. You better believe it. The other thing I have a problem with it is, and just like on this figure, they're using these reflective paints now, which are doggone cool. I mean, you guys can see Black Panther up there. He looks amazing. Amazing when he's lit up like that. Thor turned out great too. The Infinity War Thor. Beautiful piece. If you get the black light on him, it looks great. The Neon Tech Mark 1, not so much because the paint is already clearly visible. So it's not like a big shocker when you see it. It's like, oh, well, I already seen that. Nothing was revealed. But with like Thor, for instance, it's a revelation, and with his eyes light up, and with the Black Panther, a complete revelation over that. Everything just comes to absolute life. We put the neon on, it goes from black, invisible to bam, like that, and that's amazing. So where did they do the reflective paint on? The chest pieces. Now in the movie, of course, these lit up. Well, why couldn't they do that with Mysterio, just like they did with Iron Man, right? Come on. So they did light up the helmet. You can't really see how that really is going to work. I mean, what's the effect actually going to look like on that? Again, I'm a little perplexed to it. They have 2 years to figure it out before they actually throw it out there. Boy, this is nice. The whole bottom of this is textured, it's ribbed, and we're back to the die-cast casings, which is good. I which one it was, or a couple of them where they changed the die-cast casing, and I like this. I dig this like 3D version of this. And we got all the all your regular creators on there that we've had for manufacturing this. You can see that there. And we have the Hot Toys exclusive sticker. I think this is the way they come from the Asian market, obviously. And again, doing this electrolyte. So of course I ordered Mysterio. You better believe it. And I'm happy to get him when he comes. But it really is quite a shock to the things they're cutting the corners on. It just doesn't seem right. So I'm kind of going through this exact same. This is the way they do their the die-cast figures normally. So no news there. Essentially, it's a Mark 6 die-cast, which I love. Got the Mark 6 die-cast. Where do I have it at? That's the plastic. Where's our Mark 6 die-cast? I must have him in the he must be in the gantry. No, he's not in the gantry. Where's my Mark 6 die-cast? Think. He can't, is he really up here in the Hall of Armor? Is that where I have him at? Let's have a look. I want to get the other figures for comparison purposes. He can't be here. He's got to be with Loki. Where's Loki? No, that's the die-cast. This is my die-cast. Okay. All right. Here's my Mark 6 die-cast. And I'll get the Mark 4 neon over here as well. A lot of you know the 4 and the 6 are the same figure, just different. I don't know how else to explain that. Some of y'all, that seems to be a revelation to you when told that. but it is. It's the exact same figure, only different. So here's these guys. And again, in my opinion, when hitting him with the ultraviolet light, it just isn't a big revelation. Now, speaking of Toys Wonder Man, there's these little stands that they've made for these guys. You can get one for Thor, you can get one for the 4, you can get one for the 6. You can even buy another one for your Black Panther if need be. And they're relatively cheap, like $60. And I'm considering getting them for that. I think I definitely want one for Thor. Not real certain, but you can get those to like those. Pretty, kind of like the Black Panther one, only they say, you know, on them Mark 4, Mark 6. Get new chats after the reconnect. I hope this is coming through. Team is on the Stan Leaf Bowl as well. Oh, you're kidding me. My guess is it's an engineering issue, so you can move it. Oh. Well, I don't like it. And it seems that others as well have a problem with it. So, Stan Lee, I guess, because he used to be like a, and you know, back in the original helmet astronauts had like this, you know, you could lift them up, I guess, right? Like pilots, like the pilots that travel up at 80,000 feet, they have to have pressure suits and whatnot to fly at those heights. They have that type of a helmet as well. So I kind of with the Stan Lee doesn't bother me, but with Mysterio, it's supposed to be this mystic thing, you know, and it really bothers me. I mean, it really bothers me a lot. So on these die-cast pieces, they really have done a bang up job on them. If you've not picked up a die-cast Mark IV or Mark VI, and again, the only differences in them is right there, arc reactor. That's it. That's it. If you're in gold, they have a different paint scheme on them, gold and silvers in different areas in regards to that. But other than that, no difference. So when you're on this black one, there's no paint scheme difference in it, and they really re-engineered these perfectly. The if you haven't got one of these, I recommend it wholly and completely, totally, and it excites me seeing how far these guys come to when that mask comes out. Holy smokes! I can't begin to imagine how wonderful that piece is going to be. I don't know if this light helps or not. By all means, if it's ruining these shots, we'll turn it out. I'm kind of in between on the fence in regards to which. All my money on all these figures, and then you spend thousands of dollars again on top of computers and software and cameras and whatever else and lighting and everything. It's I can't even get to the cases yet, and they're only $100 a pop. I would need probably 12 of them at least. But it's this collecting hobby is more than just buying a figure for 2, 3, 4, $100 or so. There's everything else involved, and especially when you're going on to making YouTube videos, even gets involved in regard to this. So I appreciate everything, all your support and the love that you guys share with me. And I love showing off my figures. And man, I tell you what, there was a time a couple weeks ago where I was going to have to. I figured I was going to have to cash them all out. And anyhow, so this is the same figure stand that they offered with the Mark IV, only yellow. So it's cool. And again, I don't know. Do you guys want? Is it better with the light on here? Should I put this light on? Does that help? Does that make it worse? So we get this with this. Now, as you see, what I've chose to pose him on was a marker from Iron Man 2 base. And I'll probably do that with the neon as well. And then I put the neon one behind it. Because my isn't tall enough for the extra, 3/4 of an inch that this is, or 1.5 centimeters, whatever that is. So I just put that behind it. When I'm all the same size batteries throughout everything instead of different ones for the chest, which is nice. And we get the yellow laser beams, which are cool. So you get red laser beams for all the other ones. They started including laser beams on some of these. You got the blue ones for the neon tech, which is really cool. And then we get the yellow ones for this. Now, do I want them to continue making these? We've seen a War Machine that was orange and black. And it looks pretty cool. And you know what? I'm going to buy it. I buy all of this. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Gotta collect them all, I guess, right? So I don't know why I showed you both of those. You only need to see one. And it's literally with the Mark IV neon tech, or even the Mark IV die-cast cards, and the Mark VI die-cast. You get them here. And it's really neat because they paint all the little accessories that color. So all of these, this is yellow, as you can see. And the little missiles on the forearms, again, tips on them are the yellow color. So pretty cool. It's really, really cool. Put my head over here and chat and see what's going on. There's an issue with the video, Siri. All I'm getting is a loading icon. Ah, geez. You, but no image. Isn't that just lovely? Oh my goodness. I'm going through data which has a higher upload quality than Wi-Fi. Has the video kicked back on yet, Automan? I keep seeing it being jerky on my end. Okay, looks like I've got a live feed here. Looks like we got a loading screen. Jeez. How about the image now? Not yet. Gosh dang it. I actually have an image now on mine. I think, let's see. Looks like I've got a delay here of 3, 4, 5 second delay over there. Okay, hopefully you should be getting it. Refresh your browser. Screen. I don't mean a jerk. I mean I'm getting a. Holy smokes, guys! Man, thank you for your patience. This is insane. This is insane. I hope you all stuck around. This is a golly. Batteries on this, by the way, are because that's always a big question on what batteries does it use. Let me get you the battery numbers on here. I think they are the 621s. No. And we have 621s for the head. So the back and the head are LR 621s. And the arms are L521F. So you have 81s for the head and the back, and you have AG zeros for the arms. All right. So that's always important. People ask that a lot. What batteries go with the figure? My goodness, I don't know what's the problem with the video. I hope you guys can see this. I pray this is coming through. I thank you all for your patience. And John Doe from South Africa, thank you very much. It's really cool to see you, man, from South Africa. That's really cool. I watched a video one time about South Africa, and one of the things that I thought was cool was there in the cities at the stoplights, which we are stoplights, you guys call robots, and that's the coolest thing in the world. I imagine it was the truth what the guy was saying. He wasn't making it up. But they were saying that in South Africa, the traffic lights or the stoplights are called robots. And I thought that was really interesting. So here he is in the box, by the way, with all of his stuff. He just comes very plain, no extra head, no head sculpt, no donuts, no sunglasses, like the Mark IV diecast and the Mark IV pieces come with. But it's the Mark VI, which is a really cool unit. And I'm just going to display him. Oh, somebody had said they've got a Mark III diecast stealth, which is a cool one. So I have like my shelf of the really cool ones, which include my Mark VII stealth and my Mark VII Arctic or subarctic, I forget which it is. The chocolate and the white chocolate. I've got my Mark III stealth up there, the blue one with the red chest arc reactor. My Mark III and my Mark IV big ones. The gunmetal and the Secret Project, and then of course the Mark IV Neon Tech goes up there. So of course the Mark VI Neon Tech as well will go up on that shelf. They don't really fit in with the timeline of all the regular pieces, but they do belong there no matter, as it is, as such. And this thing is just searching and searching and searching. I'm going to keep recording. I guess talking to myself and nothing else. But if you are familiar with the Mark VI or the Mark IV, you're familiar with this figure, the diecast versions. So it's the exact same thing. It's just a matter of it being a different paint scheme. And I couldn't even tell you about the rarity of these anymore. There was a time when we believed that Hot Toys would keep these rare. And now it appears they are continually reissuing them. And that kind of bothers me. But I don't know. I gotta say, when all that happened with my wife, my passion for collecting took a big hit because I had to start thinking about the possibility of having to sell everything. That as well. Please tell me this thing's working now. You can see all this. So here he is. If you have not seen him yet, you get him because I buy all these figures. I would buy every single figure. I had the space and the money to do so, but I don't. I'm just like a normal guy, like you all are, just normal. Well, I believe I'm normal, but no, I don't. I don't have tons of money to spend on these. Otto, is it up yet? Because I just refreshed my browser and it's coming through. I had to refresh the browser to make it work. think this hip comes down, doesn't it? Tugging on the hip. So they've done a really good job over the years of piecing these together. I mean, before it was quite a mess, all these little pieces that they put in there to keep them from getting damaged in shipment. And they've really mastered that. So it's interesting over the years watching Hot Toys develop different. You can see this lifts up there for posability. You can get those pieces out of the way. I tried to wear a shirt that would allow this black to be seen. Most of my clothing is darker, dark blues, dark greens, blacks. So I put a light colored shirt on for this figure today. These pieces move up and out of the way for posing. I thought these hips come down. I should probably look at the instruction manual. I have the advanced suit sitting here right next to me for Spider-Man. I'm really looking forward to that. I was discussing with myself whether to unbox this one or that one first. I decided to unbox this one first, especially because this is outside the scheduled time frame of normal Saturday morning. So next Saturday, this upcoming week, next 6 days, I will be unboxing the Advanced Suit Spider-Man. The week after, I will be unboxing the Hall of Armor 7-piece. So one, you guys can see it up there, the Hall of Armor 7, and they re-released it, and I have a feeling it's exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. I've not got it yet, but it's been paid for. I've been told it's on its way. So that will be done in 2 weeks' time. So this Saturday will be the Advanced Spider-Man suit from the PlayStation 4 video game. Next Saturday will be the Hall of Armor, and we'll be figuring out where to put that. But essentially, I have the War Machines. I was going to put all my War Machines in it, and I was thinking about possibly displaying a Mark VI in one of them, because in the Avengers movie, where they're on the helicarrier, the Mark VI is stored in one of those all by itself. Or I was going to put the Iron Spider in it, because that was how it was kind of presented to Peter Parker at the end of Captain America Civil War. Or I was going to put all 7 of them together and shove War Machines in there, because you actually have in the War Machine anthology, would that be the right word? If you remember, he, as Tony says, he took his suit or stole the suit. But as Nick Fury points out to him, because Natasha tells on him and says, yeah, the security protocols is impossible for anybody to take the suit. You allowed him to take the suit. So you got the Mark II, which became the Mark I with Hammer technology. So the Iron Man Mark II became the War Machine Mark I. The War Machine Mark I is not a piece in and amongst itself. It literally is the Iron Man Mark II beefed up. So Hammer, Justin, what's his name? Justin Hammer just took the Tony's Iron Man 2 suit, Mark II suit, and just added all this stuff to it. Tony had to disassemble the War Machine Mark I in order to get his Mark II back. And there's a scene which never made it to the screen where Tony then, after he takes back his Mark II suit and disassembles the War Machine Mark I, he presents to Rhodey at that point the War Machine Mark II. And, okay, we got some tats here. I'm waiting for mine to arrive from Sideshow. I think it was still available unlike Deontech 1.0, which sold out. Yes, it did. So if you were able to get it, if you were able to order through Sideshow, you will get it. Yes, it sold out before I could get it from Sideshow. Actually, no, it didn't sell out before I could get it from Sideshow. Sideshow said, as I said earlier, Sideshow said they wouldn't be selling it, so I ended up buying it third party, and then Sideshow started selling it, and then it didn't matter at that point. I certainly couldn't cancel my order that I'd already paid for third party. But so yeah, it should be coming. I'm actually excited for Mysterio. Me too. Ricardo's me too. They got about 2 years. Yes, and hopefully they can figure out a better way of getting that head sculpt. That'd be great. Robert, how you doing, man? Is it Saturday? No, it's Sunday. You. No, we haven't gone back in time. Yesterday I was back up at the hospital because I moved my wife out of the traditional style hospital and put her into a rehabilitative hospital. And so I was getting her all settled in on that, and she's doing much better. She's getting stronger every day. Her brain is 100% there. She's tired, if you can imagine, just totally wiped out. And but I'm giving her all the love and support that I can, and she's getting better every day. But no, that's where I was yesterday. Was actually sleeping because I was too exhausted to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to put on a show. So thank you guys for popping today, Sunday. I wasn't sure if any of y'all would make it, and I'm glad to see you here. And we've gone through a lot of technical difficulties, so we are there with that. But anyhow, so there was a scene that didn't make it into the movies where he with War Machine Mark II. All right, and it never went down like that on screen. But essentially, they sold that figure, which never made it on screen. So we have that, and then the screen scene, our next scene was the Iron Patriot. So you have the Iron Man Mark II, War Machine Mark I, the War Machine Mark II non-screen scene, but very canon because there's a comic or something to that effect. I don't remember what it is. We're going to discuss it. The Iron Patriot, then the actual War Machine Mark II, which is called the New Avenger. When we seen that at the end of, what was it, Avengers, I think it was, or Winter Soldier, I forget which one it was, where we got to see Scarlet Witch and War Machine and all of them arranged there at the Avengers headquarters, where Captain America comes up there with Black Widow, and they're going to train the new guys, and he goes, Avengers. And he didn't say assemble. He goes, Avengers. And that's where it ended. But that's where we've seen the actual War Machine Mark II. And so Hot Toys has both of those and the Iron Patriot, which are all the same piece. So you have Iron Man Mark II, War Machine Mark I, War Machine Patriot, War Machine Mark II, New Avengers, War Machine Mark III, War Machine Mark IV. There's 7 right there. I ordered a Hall of Armor for 7. And then, of course, we have over and above the 7, we have the War Machine as a in the quantum suit, which I hope that they make. We have the War Machine Mark 6, which we see in Avengers Endgame, and we have the War Machine, which we're calling the Iron Patriot as well. And then there's the Punisher War Machine. So in all actuality, you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, if you count the Punisher suit, War Machines. So I got a pack of 7 to put them in. I have them just on top of the as it is kind of assembled. You can see them there. Are you kidding me? Oh, that was my alarm clock telling me to wake up. I've set it for 8 o'clock every day because visitation in the rehabilitation hospital is from 9 to 6. So that was what that was. Sorry, that was what that interaction was. Anyhow, up here, if you've seen before the alarm kicked on, you can see the War Machines I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, which is the two Iron Man Mark II and the War Machine Mark IIs and the Iron Patriot. I have my War Machine Mark I die-cast posed up versus the Mark VI and Whiplash Mark II in a little diorama that I've made. So he will stay there. I'll obviously keep a War Machine over here with the Avengers because I've got all the Avengers lined up. So in all actuality, I will only be needing to display the 2, Iron Patriot 2, the 3, the 2, Iron Patriot 2, the 3, the 4, and the 6. Because then I would imagine I would probably have the Iron Patriot with the Avengers, and I'd have the Quantum Suit with the group of Quantum Suit guys. So yeah, the pack of 7 will work for me. That's my intention. That's where we're going. So I said all that to say what I was doing over the next week. Spider-Man Advanced Suit this Saturday. Mark the 7-pack Hall of Armor Saturday after that, and my War Machine Mark IV is coming after that. So that's what I got going on the next 3 weeks. Missed the last couple of live streams. I hope yeah, okay, thank you very much. That was the last video I saw. Thank you. That's good. Didn't watch for a while. Still doing my kit bashes. Batman Begins came out great. I need better cape though. There's a company out. There's a guy down in L.A. area who makes these unbelievable capes. I don't remember who it is. There's like this big like a I don't know what you would call it, like a what do they call them? Flea market type thing that they have in Los Angeles. I forget what it's called. Some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's a guy down there that makes these unbelievable capes, and you should seek that out. He might have the cape that you're looking for. Now working on Rambo. Which Rambo? Finding yourself with Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry. Die Hard John McClane. Yeah. Rambo Terminator. Yeah, there you go, man. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's, yeah. I think that's the guy's name. That sounds right. Yeah. You should look into that. Yeah. Oh, the 80s Rambo. Oh, the original one. Cool. Cool. So that's what I got going on. And man, I tell you what, it's certainly, all these figures are coming in heavy and hard. I don't even know. It's so difficult to stay on top of it. You know what I mean? Oh, I've got the 1/6 scale land speeder paid for in full. I bought that through Juiced Async, and it's now paid in full. So I anticipate he will be shipping those out shortly. It was a 3-month plan that he had arranged for people to be able to purchase those, and I made my 4 payments. So the original down payment of $200, and then $100 times 3, so $500 for the 1/6 scale land speeder, which I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting with that. I've not gotten anyone to add to that. I need to get Stormtroopers, and I need to get a Luke Skywalker and a Ben Kenobi. But I'm really looking forward to that 1/6 scale land speeder, because I got to tell you what, man. Back in 1977, some of y'all may feel the same way I do if you happen to see Star Wars originally when it first came out. Watching that land speeder go on the screen and just, man, that was magical. That was the neatest thing to see that. And the big question was, how in the hell did he do that? How did he do that? And we now know exactly how he did it. But back then, what a big secret that was. I mean, they didn't want to divulge their secrets on how they were making the movie, because that was a big deal. And so it was just very magical seeing the land speeder and the whole scene, where we first see Ben do the these are not the droids you're looking for, the Jedi mind trick. And for decades, that was like the joke, the geek joke. These are not the droids you're looking for. I'm using my Jedi mind trick on you. I mean, the scene is iconic and classic, and it tells an entire story. And which is what I'm doing here, essentially. When I set these up, I want to be able to capture a moment in time of these movies, or what my memories of them. So I arrange my little dioramas so I can look at that and say, oh yeah, that's the Mark VI battle with Whiplash. Oh yeah, that's him with the gantry. Oh yeah, that's him fighting Ironmonger. That's him fighting Age of Ultron. Here's Hulk and Thor in Ragnarok. And I'm capturing moments of time is what I'm doing. And I can't imagine a better capture of time, really, from the whole classicness of the original movie than that. There's lots of great scenes, but really that land speeder, Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, Facebook is a mess. Stay away from Facebook if you can. If you can, it's golly. Um, Love to get that Falcon. Love the Kenner one. Fond memories. Wow, awesome. What is the price of the 1/6 scale land speeder? Is $500. You think on that Tony Stark figure from Iron Man 2? Which one? Which one from Iron Man 2? Lots of them from Iron Man 2, obviously. So we're going to put this guy. So out one here. Let me show you this on my. So on Mark 6 diecast, I set him up as such. Okay, you see his little missiles there popped out. And this is I'm one of these days I'm going to get him and Loki into a good fighting pose. You know, he's all like, I forget what it is. He's like this, or he's like this. I don't remember when he comes up on Loki. We've got Captain America there, and it's where they meet him up in Germany. And so this piece will go into a diorama with that. But this is how I have him set up. It looks really good. When this guy's lit up, he's all blue underneath here. Really spectacular figure. I mean, this guy is amazing. So I'm expecting the exact same thing with this. Now on this Neon Tech Mark IV, which again, same figure. I've done the same thing, kinda. But I put his wings up, or air brakes, I suppose, and his little missiles on his shoulders up. But this is a little different, if I remember correctly, than how the wings actually worked on the plastic one. Definitely there's lots of improvement over the plastic original Mark IVs than this. So I'm going to probably do the Mark VI similar to this. I might put the yellow lasers on him because they're so unique. The blue ones look really cool on this. I think I'll probably put the yellow lasers on the Mark VI diecast. Yeah, try and capture Batman Begins moment. It just came out. Which one is your favorite? Oh man, Arbaz, you're asking me that's the ultimate question, man. Justin did a review on new Tony from Iron Man 2. I'm not sure. Mark 80 is awesome. Mark 80, Mark 85? You know, whenever you get asked your favorite, it's kind of like if you have multiple pets or multiple children specifically. I don't know where you guys are. That's why I said pets first. I don't know if you guys have kids or not. But if you have like more than one kid, you really don't have a favorite. You have two kids. How can you possibly have a favorite? You know, really you can't. I suppose it's possible that you could. You know, there's like some kids suffer from the black sheep syndrome, where they don't feel necessarily as loved as one of their other siblings. But it's so hard to say which one is my favorite. My Mark 17 Heartbreaker holds a very fond place in my heart because it was the first one that I received. And that is that in that regards. The Mark 50 is really cool. I mean, it's really cool. It's one of my favorites for fact. It's extremely cool. The Mark 47 is very cool because it has the empty helmet. I've made empty helmets myself, like on my Mark 42 over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's behind Hulk over here. I manufactured this empty helmet myself. The Mark II Armor Unleashed plastic suit came with an empty helmet also. But I made this because it's supposed to represent him going down into the Iron Legion in the basement of the wine cellar. So I made an open empty helmet here for this Mark 42. And the Mark 47 comes with one. And that's a cool one. And it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit differently colored Iron Man. The Mark 47 is. And it comes from SpiderMan. And what the hell? Spider-Man Sony deal. Sheesh. You know, Sony has owned the rights to Spider-Man for, gosh, 30 years or more, maybe pushing 40 years. And when they made the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, boy, oh boy, oh boy, way back then, 20 years ago, they really hit on a piece of magic. And what an it's still probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. The original Tobey Maguire is because of the origination story, the Uncle Ben, the whole nine yards. Uh, Tom Holland has totally taken over the mantle in regards to representing Peter Parker. He is Peter Parker. He's done a great job of becoming Peter Parker, but it doesn't necessarily overwrite Toby. It kind of complements the two of them. Andrew Garfield, I had a difficult time with Andrew Garfield. But anyhow, the point I'm getting at is Sony's owned the rights to Spider-Man for decades. And they did really well with the first couple of Spider-Mans, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. They did a really good job in making money on that. I think they did a hell of a lot of job, a hell of a lot of money on the Spider-Verse, the story of Miles Morales, the animated Spider-Man movie. And they did a great job of telling that story as well, especially when they tied in the Tobey Maguire story and brought into this entire multiverse, which of course we're very well aware of because of Deadpool, and he's traveled the multiverse and has seen. I'm pretty sure he's seen every single Deadpool out there in the Deadpool core storylines. So we know that there's a multiverse, and so we have all these different characters. So when Sony agreed to allow Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been huge, as you guys know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You're very well aware that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been huge. And Sony is like, hey, let's get a hold of some of this money. Spider-Man has always been Marvel's number one guy. Spider-Man is Marvel's Superman, if you will, in that regards. And so for Sony to say, hey, yeah, let's move into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what a great deal for us as fans and collectors. And it was a 5-movie contract that they agreed to do this on, and they did it, and they did it amazingly. And then all of a sudden, Disney got involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Sony and Disney are two very big companies, and Disney decided they want a better cut on it. So if I don't remember what the exact original deal was out of the 5-movie contract, I think it was that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what do they call it? What is it? Marvel Studios? Marvel Studios was getting 5% of the take of Spider-Man, I think was what it was. And which was neither here nor there because they were making money hand over fist off the entire Avengers line as it was. Of everything that they were making money on. So having Spider-Man in there with 5%, which, I can't imagine it being a big deal. Disney decided they wanted 50-50. So when they came time to renegotiate the deal, Disney's like, nope, we want 50-50. And of course, Sony's like, you ain't getting 50-50, we own it, and it ain't going to happen. And so the giants fought, and it looks like Sony said, you're not getting to see it anymore, which is a crying shame because I don't know where that leaves Tom Holland. I don't know if Tom Holland is a Sony contracted actor, or if he's a Marvel Cinematic Universe contracted actor, or if he's just totally out of it altogether, which would totally suck because Tom Holland has made an amazing Spider-Man. And I would hope that we can find some way of keeping at least Tom Holland alive as Spider-Man. He's done it. So if Sony decides they want to make their movies, if they can touch on it the same way that Kevin Feige has been able to control it, we're not going to lose out as fans. If Sony decides to do something stupid and start doing some God knows what baloney to it, it's going to be the end of it. And it's going to be the end of it. I don't know what to tell you. But then again, Disney could make that same stupid mistake, and start doing stuff that really has nothing to do with it the fans have any interest in. And it's really fragile at this point, this whole process. We got a pretty good Venom this last time. They did a terrible job of Venom in Spider-Man 3. And I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the writing and the graphics on it. It was just pathetic. It was bad. It was really poor. Spider-Man 3 is one of the ones we don't like talking about. And they even joked about that in the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales. So obviously, Sony's claiming there's going to be a Spider-Man and Venom movie, which would be very cool to see. And it would be interesting to see how that goes. But gosh, if Sony and Disney could have kept together, because especially with the merger now of Disney owning Fox, with all of the X-Men and Deadpool and everything else that came over with that, we're getting Marvel back together. Because the breakup of all the characters when they went to all the different movie houses and different franchises and companies owning the rights of who can do what to whom in regards to putting them on the screen was a huge mess. And it's nice to see everything coming together. And it was really good when Sony and the MCU were working together at the same time. Let's see, another Mark 46. This has the one he fought at Cap, iconic moment. Wish they made a J.J. Jameson. Yeah, that would be cool, especially after the end of Iron Man or Spider-Man: Far From Home, where we get to see the exact same character who played J. Jonah Jameson in the Tobey Maguire movies reappear as reprise his role in that, making the big reveal. And again, that was the end of the MCU Sony thing, which means there's not going to be a continuation of that. But they could, because it was a Sony Tobey Maguire thing. And Avi Arad has been around the whole time of the last 20 years of Spider-Man. So, and he seems to have some. I wouldn't know if I would call it. I don't know how I would describe it. He seems to be on top of things. He doesn't seem to be outside of the loop. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that Spider-Man was planning on doing in the movies, and it's good to see where it was. Constellation Prize, Venom, Spider-Man. Yeah. He's contracted to do a few more. Well, who through who? Through Sony? The MCU kind of blah now. Yeah, well, it's funny because when they were talking about a Doctor Strange movie, I was like, yeah, big deal. When they were actually talking about a Thor movie the first time, I was like, big deal. But then, I fell in love with these characters. I thought the Doctor Strange movie was amazing. Amazing movie. I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange and the humor in it. Like, I forget what the guy's name, the bad guy was in the Doctor Strange movie when he he meets Doctor Strange and he goes, I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met before. Mr. It's Doctor. Mr. Doctor? It's Strange. Maybe, but who am I to judge? That little interaction was just priceless. I love that. Doctor Strange, they do a similar thing again in Infinity War where Peter meets up with him and he goes, oh, by the way, I'm Peter, I'm Peter Parker, and Doctor Strange goes, oh, we're using our made up names. Well, then I'm Spider-Man. So yeah, I really, and so what may be a problem in regards to looking at the Phase 4 that's coming out and thinking, I don't really care about any of these movies, or I may end up falling completely and totally in love with them, and they may not have any more of this social justice warrior bias baloney that they're trying to force down our throats and just make movies, just give us action, just give us great story, just give us characters we can fall in love with, and not have to go in there and get an education when we walk out of it, as in thinking, I'm not worthy to live because you have an opinion of me that I don't appreciate, and blah, 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 blah. Hot Toys, what if? My Hot Toys is number one, Mark 50. I agree. I love my Mark 50. Hulk versus Wolverine. Oh, man. That would be cool. If X-Men only 10 years to go. Fantastic Four, X-Men, only 10 years to go. Is that what it is? 10 years? Hey, Siri, howdy. How's it going, Buzz? I heard Doctor Strange may introduce Marvel zombies. It will have a horror vibe, I'm told. Interesting. That'd be cool if we get to see the Deadpool zombie, Headpool. If you guys remember, I've got that figure. It'd be cool to see a Headpool in Marvel Zombies. Have a couple of those. Here's one of them. A little Headpool, 1/6 scale Headpool. This is from the Zombieverse. Yeah, I'd like to see all the Deadpools come about. Good portion of them. There's many of them. However many universes there are, there's a Deadpool. How are we going to dress him up? Oh, yeah. We're going to put him with his laser hands. Because I want to have these yellow lasers on him. And I ought to put the batteries in him. If I remember correctly, you take off the bicep piece. Let's lift up this shoulder piece here. If I remember correctly, you take off the bicep piece. It always scares me pulling on these. I'm always so scared. Okay, so that's the on-off switch is under the bicep piece. And then the batteries, if I remember correctly, go underneath here. Let's consult the instruction manual. Instruction manual? Who needs an instruction manual? Because every time they make a figure, they change where everything goes. Hey, you know, I was wondering lately, 2020 will be Hot Toys 20th anniversary. Ooh, it will be, won't it? What do you think they will release to commemorate this? Something Iron Man? Come on. You know that. You know it'll be something Iron Man. This is the Iron Man Mark 6 Neon Tech diecast. Yeah, you know, the neons are kind of like here or there. You know, I buy them because I buy them all. But it's not a required suit. It's not even screen mentioned. Whereas the Mark 7 Stealth is actually mentioned in Iron Man 3. The neons aren't even mentioned. So it's just literally a total money grab. But they look cool. And if you are looking for cool, unique pieces to display differently, you know, if you're putting your pieces in dioramas and you want to have them just displayed, you know, it's cool in that regards. And I guess they've shown a War Machine. How was it? The Mark 1 diecast that they showed is the next one, orange and black neon. So that's we'll see how that goes. They should reintroduce a 2.0 of their first figures. They should reintroduce the 2.0 of their first figures. Well, the first figures were like soldiers, weren't they? Weren't they like military figures? They, if I remember correctly. How many people would actually buy those? Obviously, there'd be a lot. I would imagine it would, but I'm just saying I don't necessarily believe that that's their focus now. I think their biggest moneymaker is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe Star Wars, but I don't know if that would be good marketing to re-release the original figures that they did. It'd be cool, but no, I don't know. These neon tech suits are brilliant, but with so many figures from the Marvel movies, I sadly need to decide wisely on what to PO. Bingo! That's the question that gets asked a lot as well. Should I buy this figure or should I buy that figure? And I remember when I first started collecting these. I've always collected something. When I first started collecting these, I discovered the 1/6, specifically the Hot Toys. And I was like, holy cow, look at this, is amazing. And all of a sudden, I just wanted to buy anything and everything. And I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. I remember asking that same question of collectors who were collecting before me. And I was like, well, maybe I should get this because it's 1/6, or maybe I should get that because it's made by Hot Toys. Breathe for a moment and truthfully only get what you want. Because holy smokes, I'm well over 200 figures here. I don't even know exactly how many figures I truthfully have. And do the math real quick, and you'll see it's the bank breaker and a space taker, and If you don't have those two things, don't just buy something just because. Buy what you truthfully have a connection to. Buy what you can enjoy and love, and just take the time. And in on all actuality, if I really were to do this right, I should probably start selling off pieces that I don't want or need or whatever, and I just have a hard time parting with them. If you can do that, you buy a piece that you like for instance a Mark III because it's available for you, you can afford it, and then later on you no longer have a love for it anymore. Pass it on to somebody else and get you one that you want, the Mark 50, a Mark 85, or Mark 46, or whatever piece that speaks to you, a Hulk or a Captain America. And here's another thing too. For instance, originally my thinking was, yeah, I only need one Black Widow, I only need one Captain America, I only need one Hawkeye, etc. Because I just wanted to make an Avengers. And now I'm like, holy smokes, I want every Black Widow. And I want to go backwards and collect the ones that are missed. Same thing with Captain America. I want the whole line of Captain America. And you'll go through these stages and phases, and it's fine. Enjoy the hobby. Don't let it ruin you. Don't let it rule you. And don't look at this necessarily as an investment. Okay? It's a volatile market. People's opinions on things change all the time. What they love today, they won't necessarily like tomorrow. Who's to say if we will make any money on these ever? Ever. Please don't ever think you can buy it now and turn around and sell it for $800 in a year. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but the odds of that are stacked totally against you. But collect it because you want it. That's the whole purpose of the hobby. Don't look into this thinking that you're going to make any money. And if you do make some money, hey, you're ahead of the game. If you don't make any money and you bought something that you love, you've had that love there for you. And that's really where I am. If I was trying to make money on these, they would have been sold a long time ago. And again, I probably, if it's all said and done, you weigh out all of these 200 figures versus what I paid for them, what I could probably sell them for. There's some that are high, there are some that aren't. And I don't even know if I'd even break even, to tell you the truth, after you pay for your PayPal fees and your eBay fees and your shipping and handling fees, etc., etc., etc. All the fees are going to eat it up, and whatever profit that you'd have possibly made in the first place is probably gone in that regards, as that is. So buy what you want, collect it and love it, and if you need to get rid of it, go for it. Retro Mark 15. That is a neat one. I wish that we had a story to the Mark 15. You know what I mean? He's got this interesting arm and hand that doesn't make any sense to anything. Simon, how you doing? Simon James Bishop. Christopher Reeve Superman. Christopher Reeve Superman is probably, in my opinion, the Superman. Now, it's difficult to say that because every generation has a Superman. It's like they redo Superman every 10 years. A new actor is portraying him in one manner or another. Same thing with Batman. We have a new one every generation. Or every 10 years, actually. But so every generation has a Superman that they love. And Christopher Reeve is really my Superman. My second Superman would have to be Kane. What was his name? Last name was Kane. I forget his first name. His Superman was the television series, The Adventures of Lois and Clark. Dean Cain. Love the Dean Cain Superman storyline. Again, so those really are my Supermans. And I've never seen a Dean Cain Superman anywhere. And Lois would have been super hot from The Adventures of Lois and Clark. What was her name? I forget her name. That would be a Superman to get a hold of. I would love to see them do a Dean Cain Superman. That would be great. Linda Carter. She's still amazingly beautiful to this day. She's done a great job keeping herself on top of it all. You know what I mean? She was the original Wonder Woman as far as I'm concerned in regards to that. She set the standard for Wonder Woman. The Gal Gadot is amazing, but Linda Carter, she started it all. She really started it all. Buy what you like. That's right, Simon. You got it, man. Cesar Romero, Joker. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yes. Cesar Romero and Jack Nicholson. Those are the iconic. Heath Ledger. I mean, all three of those are on target. I don't know. I don't know what I think of the new Joker movie coming out. I certainly didn't like the Suicide Squad Joker, not at all. But Cesar Romero, the old 1960s from Batman, the Adam West Batman. Oh man. The 89 Batman was like, I'm okay, that's it. Right? Nicholson. Oh man. Yeah, right? Dean Cain. Yep. Adventures of Lois and Clark. Siri, do you plan on buying the small Hot Toys? I do not. I do not. It's actually, I think the Hall of Armor itself is 6 inches, but the figures I think are the original Star Wars size figures from the old Kenner, which are like 4.5 inches or something. So I think that's the size of the figures. They're not 1/12. They're smaller. They're like 4.5 inches is the figures on them. And it's when I first started collecting the 1/6 scale figures, the Hall of Armor and all that, and the space involved in collecting these really started weighing on me. King Art started coming out with their 1/9 scale figures, and I'd said at that point, if I knew there was going to be a 1/9 scale figure, I would have never collected the 1/6 scale figures. That is now definitely not the case. I've bought a handful of King Art's 1/9 scale figures. I own an Ant-Man, I own the Yellow Jacket, and I think I've got another one. I don't remember of 1/9 scale King Arts figures, and the quality just isn't there. I'm sorry to say, they're not the same quality as Hot Toys figure. We as Hot Toys collectors will tear apart the quality on a Hot Toys because we expect it to be perfect, and we'll find all different problems with it in regards to paint fading and wires breaking and joints being loose or tight or whatever, and the fitment not being correct and the design not being correct. But by golly, we're talking about something that's perfect in the first place, and we're expecting 100% perfection on that. When you come into like a King Arts and you see that the quality just isn't there, boy, oh boy, the list just quadruples in sizes in regards to problems with the doggone things. So I'm happy I stay at the 1/6. I just don't have the space for anything else. The reason I buy the other sizes on Ant-Man and Wasp is because they are multiple sizes. They are multiple sizes, and I would love to get a 6-foot Ant-Man, which would represent either Civil War or any of the times he became Giant Man, and he would be perfect in here. Where the hell I would put him, I have no freaking idea, but that would be great. Same thing with, and he would still be 1/6 scale. A 6-foot Iron Ant-Man would be 1/6 scale of Giant Man. Hulk would be another one that I would buy in multiple sizes if they made a good quality quarter scale, for instance. NECA, if NECA made a good quality Hot Toy style Hulk, or if King Arts made a good quality 1/9 scale Hulk, I would buy that because Hulk grows, and I'm under the belief that the angrier he gets, the larger he becomes. In the Hot Toys, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he kind of stops at the height that he is. But I think if I remember correctly, in the Hulk movies that preceded the what's his name, the guy that plays Bruce Banner in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Anyhow, the characters that played him before, in the Ang Lee Hulk and the other Hulk, gets much bigger, and so I have no problem with getting a quarter scale Hulk. That would be cool if I can find one that matches Hot Toys quality. So no, I do not plan on getting that because A, I don't have the space for it, and B, I'm really just trying to stay with the 1/6 scale community in that regards. It's enough money as it is. But if you have no intention of ever getting a Hall of Armor, if you're just a collector who wants to get 1 or 2 Iron Man pieces, and you like, for instance, like the Mark 7, and you like, for instance, the Mark 85, or whatever it is that you decide to get, and you want a Hall of Armor, hey, go for it. It tells the story, and that's what we're all about. We are giving ourselves a sense of joy and pleasure in looking at our figures or handling our figures or posing our figures to remind ourselves of that story. And if you could have a nice, Mark 50 or something sitting in front of your Hall of Armor, God, that would look great. That'd be perfect. And that's really another way of just telling the story. So, I've got the full on 1/6 scale Hall of Armor up there. I don't need a smaller version of Hall of Armor. It's neat that they do that, and I don't even know how much they're going to sell them for. But even if they're even if they're $100 a piece, I can't imagine they would be that much. They might be. $700, you got a full on Hall of Armor with the suits, so you can't go wrong there. George. Oh my God. Was Reeves his last name? You're talking about the black and white Superman for the television series? His last name wasn't Reeves, was it Reeves? Oh man. I've seen maybe like one or two of those old TV series Supermans. I thought Tom Welling was a good successor. Tom Welling. The name sounds familiar. I can't remember who that is. I'm not feeling that new Joker movie. Yeah, me neither. I hope it is good. The actor there, I forget his name. He's one of those guys that, just like Heath Ledger, he really will go full on into the character. So he's a very passionate actor. I cannot remember his name, but that would be the saving grace of it. If he's able to pull off a believable Joker, I think that would be the saving grace of it. But no, the scenes that I've seen, they don't look very promising. They actually don't look very promising at all. What size is 1/9? 9 inches. So it's funny that that's the case. 1/6 is 12 inches. And essentially, it's because 6 feet is 72 inches. And 72 divided by 6 is 12. 6 times 12 is 72. So that's what 1/6. 1/9, believe it or not, is 9 inches. And so it's, like right here on him. And 1/12 is 6 inches. So 1/6 is 12 inches, 1/12 is 6 inches. So 1/12 is 6 inches, 1/6 is 12 inches, and 1/9 is 9 inches. It's funny that it ends up being 9 inches, but that's what it is. And then 1/7 is between 6 and 9, and 1/10 is between 9 and 12. So some pieces you'll see that are specifically some statues will come in 1/7 or 1/10 scale. And I have no qualms or disagreements with anybody that collects the statues or the 1/7 and the 1/10 and all that, because somebody could be an Iron Man person and they only collect only Iron Man. They could have everything from one scale, 1/4 scale, 1/3 scale. You have legendary scale, I think, is a 1/3 scale. You have half scale, and that's because they're passionate about Iron Man. And I love Iron Man. SpiderMan really is my guy. But I'm kind of focused on the 1/6 scale is where I'm at. So I collect a lot of the 1/6 scale in that regards. So, but there's a lot of different scales out there of everything, and you'll find some good quality stuff, and you'll find some poor quality stuff. Marvel Select is pretty good. So when you're going down to the 1/12 scale, which is Marvel Select figures, you get some pretty good pieces, but you have to pay attention to that too, because sometimes they take an artistic license in regards to that. And so like when I'm buying my Ant-Man and my Wasp figures, I try to buy the ones that are matched up to the scenes in the movies or to the way Hot Toys has imagined the figure. They keep it looking the same way, because you can find some, pardon me, I'm getting a little gas from my coffee, that aren't necessarily right. And it sucks whenever you make that purchase of a piece and then it just doesn't quite fit in. So like I have an Ant-Man, which is very close, but his eyes are orange and his mask is not over his face, so you see his face, and he doesn't quite fit, but he's in the scale procession there. So I've got 1/6, so I have a 12-inch, a 9-inch, a 6-inch, and then like a 5.5-inch, and then I have like a 1.5-inch, and then a 1-inch, and I don't know what the next one is, maybe a centimeter tall Ant-Man. And so they build up and around in that manner. And they did do a really good job with the 1/9 King Arts Ant-Man. The quality just isn't there. it's higher quality than like a Marvel Select, but not the quality of a Hot Toys, I have to say. That could do a 1/4 Ant-Man or even Godzilla. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd love NECA to do a good quality 1/4 Ant-Man, a 1/4 Hulk, and hey, you can't go wrong with Godzilla, right? Tom Welling, Smallville. Yeah. That was the next one after Adventures of Lois and Clark. Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that. That was in between Adventures of Lois and Clark and what was his name? Cardell. The Superman in the movies. What was his name? Harvey. Gosh dang it. My memory, man. I tell you what. Sometimes I'm on target with everything. Other times I just can't keep track. Hi, sir. You just joined the stream. Welcome. Where did you buy your Neon Tech 2.0? I bought it from a website, Toys Wonderland. He has, and again, I say he, I think it's an actually company. It could be a dozen people working there or 50 people. I have no idea. They have figures that you can't find anywhere else. You're going to pay for it, though. No joke about it. But you're going to get the pieces that you can't find anywhere else. That's a fact. eBay as well has pieces as such as well, but I got it from Toys Wonderland, and I bought it there because Sideshow told me they weren't going to be carrying it. And lo and behold, the week after I paid for it at Toys Wonderland, Sideshow sold it. And you can't cancel it. Once you pay for it, you paid for it. So I've overpaid for it. You guys would get it cheaper if you bought it through Sideshow, or if you were lucky enough to get it over in Asia or wherever when they were first being released. But I really paid for it, and I'll never probably ever recoup the money that I paid for this guy. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I love him. I bought him and paid for him what I wanted. I wanted him, and I had no qualms in paying for it in that manner. But that's where I got it from. Toys Wonderland. Toys Wonderland. Whenever snobby critics praise a superhero movie, it usually means the character has been changed to the point there's nothing of the character from the comic. What would be a good example of that? I know exactly what you're saying, but give me a good example of a movie where you think that they've totally destroyed the character. That's an interesting conversation, because I agree. Sometimes, you'll hear these creators and producers, directors, writers, for instance, like Star Wars, where they're like, oh, this is one of the things I heard. I think it was either a writer or a creator. I don't remember who it was that said this about the new Star Wars movies. We wanted to do away with the princess because, the princess, blah, blah, blah. She don't ever do anything, yada, yada. She's weak and whatever. And I'm like, what the hell Star Wars movie did you see? Because Princess Leia was no, Disney princess, weak, whatever. I can't do anything. Oh, I broke my nail. Princess Leia pretty much kicked ass. All right? And they're like talking about how, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They haven't seen the movie. They've never read a gosh darn Star Wars, nothing. They don't even know what they're talking about. And they just start making this rambling baloney. And of course, it offends the fans. And they're like, F the fans. We're doing our own thing. And the next thing you know, we're not giving them any money. And then they're like, oh, we don't know what happened. How come nobody's making any money? And we're not making any money off the Star Wars franchise. The franchise is dead. Nobody cares anymore. No, we love it. You guys jerked it off. So, jeez. But yeah, give me a DC or a Marvel instance on that. More of a DC guy. Hey, and truthfully, my first superhero was Superman. And then I think I discovered Batman with the 1960s Adam West Batman. But yeah, I was reading the Superman comics back in the day when I was a little kid. And so I know Superman, from the original stories of Superman, the original comics of Superman. And that's the Superman that I grew up with. And then the Adam West Batman became my Batman, which really is, he's almost comedic compared to the Dark Knight that we so much are very much in love with. I'm trying to remember the name of the writer who really brought the Dark Knight to life. He's probably the most famous Batman writer. I can't remember his name right now. So that's where it started. But then when I discovered SpiderMan, he really touched me, because now I've got a character that I could totally relate to. Superman's an alien from another planet. We could never be Superman. He was perfect. You know, we can only look up to him and try to be like him, and we can love him and stand behind him and enjoy that he's fighting for us. Truth, justice, and the American way, or whatever was his old saying, and that's fantastic. And Superman will always be Superman, and he is Superman. Batman is the Dark Knight, a billionaire, or trillionaire, or quadrillionaire, or more money than God. Can do anything he wants. He's a genius. He's a martial arts expert. He's got he's on top of everything. He's totally analyzed every scenario and any situation that he comes across. Any villain, he's one step ahead of them always. Even when you think Batman's getting his butt kicked, he needed to get his butt kicked in order to be able to go to the next step to kick your butt. But Spider-Man was just a kid, just a average schmuck like you or I, walking around, gets bit by a radioactive spider. Next thing you know, the whole weight of the world is on his shoulders, and he learns that through the death of his beloved uncle, who was raising him like a son, because his mom and dad, there's different stories on what happened to them, but they were dead or not around. So that was a relatable character to me, totally. Not because I was raised by my uncle, because I wasn't. Not because my mom and dad were dead, because they weren't. But just because he's just a kid thrown into it all. And that was what lit my real fire in regards to things. Like Iron Man, I didn't even know anything really about Iron Man. Whenever he would do a crossover into Spider-Man was when I had any taste of him. So I got the taste of all the other characters through the crossovers into Spider-Man comics. But when the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, Iron Man just took totally off, and he became, because I've watched Robert Downey Jr.'s career over the years and love him as an actor and the characters that he's always portrayed, and he really brought to life the Iron Man that I was familiar with from the comics, and that kind of changed things. But Spider-Man's always my go-to guy, always. Hey, Jason, welcome, man, welcome. Star Wars, Star Trek. Star Wars, Star Trek. Boy, that's another big discussion. I love them both, but no, man, I don't know. I like to say I'm a Star Trek guy because of the science fiction or science faction of it, but Star Wars is science fantasy. And on top of that, Star Wars takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So maybe their galaxy works on a different set of principles in regards to the things. But yeah, Jason, welcome, man. I keep thinking it's Saturday. I wish it was Saturday. Joker the movie doesn't look like Joker, and after it, this getting praised by snobby critics. Oh, is it even out yet? What color exclusive sticker does your Neon Tech Mark 2.0 have? I think this is the Asian one. It's the red and gold. I think that's the Asian sticker, isn't it? The standard sticker, the classic, the regular sticker, the original sticker. The one that, if you were to pick it up at Secret Base, I think that's the sticker you get. I don't remember. Don't know where they all are in regards to that. So yeah, it's yellow. It's red and yellow, red and gold. I hope it's good, but Joker related to Bruce. I hope it's good. Robot Chicken had a great Superman original. I love Robot Chicken. I've not seen Robot Chicken in ages. Siri, don't you have the neon light which came with the Black Panther? I do. The Black Panther's up there with the neon light on him, if you can see him lit up. I can, certainly. I will do that. Krypton, okay. Kal-El. Who's Kal? Jor-El was his dad, right? Who's Kal? The dog? Krypton, okay. Kal-El, child of divorce. Jor-El told Laura, you can keep the house, but not helping the baby shot it in a rock. What I talked about Mysterio was my disappointment in a couple of things. First off, I'm not disappointed to get the figure because Hot Toys does not make villains. They don't make the villains. Why do they not make the villains? Because we don't buy the doggone things. You can still buy a Mandarin to this day. You can get on Big Bad Toy Store and pick up a Mandarin for a dirt cheap price. You can get an Electro. You can get the Chitauri Warriors. These are bad guys that nobody's buying. I think an Age of Ultron is still available. And Ultron, I think, is still available for sale at Big Bad Toy Store. You can still get them brand spanking new, never before touched by the person who's received it. It's still under warranty. You open it up and it's not working. You can get it fixed under warranty. Nobody buys these figures. So they don't like making the villains. That's why we don't have a Black Order. That's why we're not getting the Vulture, Michael Keaton Vulture, which we so deserve. So they've made a villain, pleased about that. But they have like this ugly seam in his helmet. The helmet looks great. I was really trying to figure out how they were going to do that in the first place with the galaxy effect or the smoke effect or you know, in the comics it was like a smoke, but in the movie it kind of like a galaxy or like a dust cloud from you know, the universe. I was curious how they do that. It looks great. That's lit up. But in the movie, his chest also has this really good light in it. And they're not lighting that up. They're using the reflective paint on it, which only works, again, if you've got it lit up in this scenario. And I don't know. I don't know what I like. I don't know what to think about that. But yeah, let's get that. Let's get that and plug it in. Can you show us, mate? Certainly. I love that Superman robot chicken order. I'm going to check that out. Red is Hong Kong. Okay. Green is mainland China. Okay. White beige is Japan. Ah, okay. Sideshow, SS Sideshow, right? Apparently, QC standards are different. Depends on where the figure. Really? Interesting. Oh, geez. Who could this be? I hope it is work. Guys, I may have to cut this short. Oh, man. So, if any of y'all made it back, I took care of the problem at work, and I was being asked to show this on this. Let's see if we can get this down here. I think this has a USB port on it, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Got it behind that. I wonder how long my cord is. Might be able to snake this around. Okay, so that's plugged in there. Okay, it's plugged in there. Alrighty, let's get this down here. So, that same place, Toys Wonderland, that I was telling you about that I bought my Neon Tech Mark 6 from, they sell these display stands for these guys. So you can get a Mark IV and a Mark 6, etc. for them. And power cords, power cords. Never have enough electricity. It's funny how our demands for electricity have increased over the years. I mean, I think in my computer room I've got, gosh, I don't even know, probably 30 outlets of electricity in a little bitty room. I mean, it's crazy. Used to be you're lucky if you had one outlet on a wall. Now you need like 8 in a wall. Eight double outlets, so 16 plugs. So this, of course, is the Black Panther lit up. The neon. Let's turn out these lights. Because, man, I tell you, if you guys seen my video on this guy, he's amazing. And lit up on this. So, start killing these lights. That's what you can see here, okay? Show you how these guys look. All right, there's that. Now we'll put the Mark 6 in there. So my work called. I'm a systems administrator for a small retail organization. I handle all their computer needs. And when they are open and they have a computer problem, I get a phone call. So it interrupts this. So that's my job. That's what allows me to be able to afford my toys. So if you made it back, welcome back. If you didn't make it back immediately, hopefully you'll find the rest of the stream later and you can watch it then and see this. But so let's turn this on, see how it looks. So I have to truthfully say, I don't know if I'm really impressed with the reflectiveness in regards to this. And I felt the same way with the Neon Tech Mark 1, simply because the color's already there. Unlike the Black Panther, which the colors aren't there until you turn them on. You know what I mean? I don't know whether it's a light that's causing it to shine up like that, or if it's truthfully the ultraviolet light. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm shielding this, so you can see exactly what it's actually lighting up. Okay? And I don't know whether or not that would be the same thing as just turning on the light, regular light. You know, it's not like it's any really different reflectiveness to it. It just makes it kind of a, I don't know, a yellowy yellow. But just a regular white light would do the same. So, in all truthfulness, in my opinion, the reflective quality on it is kind of lost. And I have the same opinion with the Neon Tech Mark IV. We can already see the colors. We can already see this beautiful, neat color there. It's not as though it's a revelation of a new color or anything along that line. It's not as though for one moment he's black and then he's blue. You know, if they'd done it the same way they did the Black Panther, if it was totally black and then when you kick it on, boom, he turns blue, holy smokes, that would have been cool. But they didn't. If they painted it only in the ultraviolet black light paint, then that would have been superbly cool. But they didn't. So I don't know necessarily whether or not there's any real difference here. You know what I'm saying? It's brighter, yes, but who's to say it wouldn't be just brighter just from a regular light? You follow what I'm saying? So it is neat. They do make a display stand, a company that makes a diorama base for these. You can either buy a Mark IV display stand, a Mark VI display stand, or you can buy one that will pose both figures. So one that has the two lights and two figure stand poles that'll hold both figures in under the one light. So you can buy those three variations, and then you can also get one for Thor, and then they make another one for Black Panther just in case you didn't get or have broken or lost or didn't like the styling of the Black Panther one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these that are currently available, and you can find them at Toys Wonderland that sell these. So there's a Mark IV neon, a Mark VI neon, a Mark IV and 6 neon, a Thor, and a Black Panther, all available for to be lit up in this manner. So let's also put him on the if for whatever reason you didn't want to use this for Black Panther, it's the same style base. It's not necessarily wired for the this, but I bet you could wire it specifically for that as well. I'm sure you could put the Iron Man Mark II base in here with a little bit of finagling and a couple holes if you wanted to not necessarily display the Black Panther. Let's say you bought this, you didn't want to display your Black Panther in it, which I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to do that. I can't imagine for 1 second owning this Black Panther and not lighting him up. I mean, okay. Freaking amazing. Okay. Freaking amazing. So that's my opinion on this Black Panther from Black Panther. Absolutely amazing. And I was able to as well buy from Toys Wonderland my King of Wakanda suit, which I don't know how the hell I missed it the first time it was available from retailers that sell these suits. I did miss it. I just recently purchased that as well, so I can have the King of Wakanda sitting on his throne. Because this guy, nobody else really sits on the throne properly. You can put anybody you want on there, Shuri or T'Chaka, Killmonger. You can put any of those guys on the throne. But I really think the King of Wakanda outfit of T'Challa in his black with the white lace is really who needs to be on there. And hopefully he fits well, because I just finally have ordered that. But let's get this neon Mark VI set up. Black Panther looks amazing. CBS Sci-Fi, I agree. He looks amazing. I'm doing well. I'm holding up, man. Last I showed. Yes. She's healing. She's gone from she died. She literally died. She passed. She stopped breathing. There's no brain activity. There's no heart. There's no pulse. She was in all legalities dead, and they brought her back to life. She was 1 day in coma, 2 days in the vegetative state. She woke up, and they were going to hospice her because they just didn't feel that she was well enough to be able to survive. That she wasn't going to make it. They said that she wouldn't even live a month. They said she could die in days or weeks, but they definitely didn't think she was going to make it a month. She's since even kicked all that ass. She's at the point now where they're rehabilitating her, getting her ready to come home and to live a productive life again. So if you can imagine, my emotions have gone through absolute hell. My brain has been absolutely racked over that whole thing. So I believe I'm doing pretty well considering, and I think that I'm really happy to have my wife in such a great condition that she's in now. So thank you very much for asking. Ruben, how's it going, man? Hot Toys should have considered adding these lights to these Neon Tech Iron Man figures, or at least sell them separately. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, so where we are, okay, and on the, so it's the back of the arms is where this is. So the front of the arm, do I need the light back on? Can you guys see all this? Is this light good here? Or should I have the other lights on? Here, you guys tell me. I'm gonna turn those lights on. There's no lights on, and here's these lights on. You tell me which lights I should have. No lights, probably? I bet no lights is probably the best, isn't it? I'm gonna turn this off. I think no lights is probably the best, right? So the front of the bicep is where you turn the on and off, and then it's actually underneath that exact spot is where the battery goes. So where's my electric screwdriver? I don't see it. What did I do with it? Oh, joy of joys. Man, I just hopefully I can unscrew this. What in the world did I do with my electric screwdriver? Sometimes these screws are so messed up in here that you can't unscrew them. And what I want to see here is how the laser arm lights up. So if I remember correctly, and it came out quite easily, if I remember correctly, the laser lights, the little laser beams here that come with this will light up. If I remember correctly. They may not, but I want to see. And thank you very much, man. It's one of the most messed up things that you can go through. You know what I mean? So thank you, thank every one of you guys. I thank every one of you guys. And I ain't kidding you. It's funny. That's literally her terminology. She said, you know, to our friends that she's on the mend. That's literally how she even phrased that. So I think you guys are feeling. I think the universe. I think we're all connected. I'd like to believe that in some way or another, right? So you got her spirit, man. You heard her say that she's on the mend. Good wording, man. Good wording. She said to tell our friends and family that she is on the mend. Her words, exactly. Put these batteries in this arm here. And, you know, like I told you guys, you know, you have different love for different things. We use the word love so loosely because we love so many different things. But a love you have for your spouse, especially if you're in love with your spouse, which I truthfully am in love with my spouse. I've always been in love with her. I'm sure I've talked about that in the past. I don't think there's any question about my feelings for my wife. You know exactly how messed up something like this is. You know what I mean? I'm using the little Hot Toys tweezers, the little plastic ones. They're not fine enough, so I'm going to use. I have this little King Arts guy here. Came with King Arts figures. It's pretty cool. It'll hold, I think, 2 batteries at a time, and it has a little plunger. You can push it down in, get it right where it is. Really neat little tool. If you happen to get a hold of one of these, really neat. So I'm gonna load 2 of these up in here, or attempt to. I always end up dropping these batteries. Them in the crevice of my fingers here. And these are smaller batteries than normal. So we got the 2 in there. I'm going to attempt to place them. Yeah, they didn't make it. Probably should put 3 of them in this. Stretch it out a little bit. Probably would be easier in this instance. So Put them in a little crevice of my fingers. Go from there. Coincidentally, the second figure I ever bought, the first figure I bought was the Mark 17 Heartbreaker. The second figure I bought was the Mark 21 Chrome. Mark 21 Midas, not the Chrome. Mark 21 Midas. And with the announcement and pre-orderableness, however you would say that, the Mark 7 die-cast, I hope they give us a new Mark 21. If nothing else, I guarantee you, I can freaking guarantee you, somebody out there is going to make one. I bet money on it. Somebody out there is going to repaint a Mark 7 die-cast to be the Mark 21. My third figure was the Mark 20 Python. If I remember correctly. I know that I got the 17, the 33, the 35, the 21, and the 20 all about the same time. I don't remember which one actually came first. Might have been the Mark 33 was before all that. I'm not going to be able to get two in there. And there they went right to the floor. I have a magnet that I use. Just drag it across the floor to pick all these up. Having a time at it. As you can imagine, I'm sure. Pushing on through. I think I even made a video one time on how to put these batteries in. Another method I use is electrical tape. I'll just tape them into one big bundle. Shove them in there. It's like, did you ever play that game Operation? Where you have to like pull out the Charlie horse and the funny bone and all that out of the little guy, and if you touch the edges it buzzes. His little nose turns red. That's what it's like with these. Gosh dang it. I have also these little fine tooth, little bitty pliers, tweezers come to a point. And I believe I'm at that point right now. And I hate using the metal ones, but batteries don't last long as it is. So it's not like the fraction of a section that I'm discharging this battery holding it together is going to really, make that big of a deal in the life of the doggone thing, because they don't last long anyhow. And you certainly don't want to leave them in your figure. Got it in. Because they explode. And I don't mean like explosion. I just mean they pop open and they leak out. You certainly don't want that. So you don't want to keep your batteries in your figures. So keep that in mind if you're buying like a 2013, 2012 Iron Man figure that's slated as new, never removed from box, because the batteries were put into the figures back then. And you could have one that's actually leaked out and or / exploded. So see if this works now. There we go. Lights up. No, it does not. The light does not shine into that. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Let's see how that looks with the ultraviolet light. Any difference in it? Not really. I've seen a guy that makes lightsabers for 1/6 scale Hot Toys figures. He actually makes them light up. And I've thought about contacting him to see if he could make these. I'm sure he could. That would be cool to have these lit up, wouldn't it? That'd be great. So let's put these little rockets on him, because those light up. Yeah, my internet connection sucks on this end too, man. So if you're having a bad internet connection, I'm having a bad internet connection, we're all really going to be doing bad. Let's see. It's all good. I'll shut this internet connection. Glad you are here. Thank you. I just got the Mark IV War Machine. It's a beast. I've got mine on the way. I'm going to unbox it in 3 weeks. This weekend I'm going to do my Spider-Man Advanced suit. Next week I'm going to do the Hall of Armor, all 7 pieces. And the week after that I'm going to do the War Machine Mark IV. Did you guys know there is a real-life Iron Man statue in Italy's streets to honor the death of Tony Stark, also known as Iron Man in Endgame? What? Are you kidding me? By the way, Siri, do you think Hot Toys will make a diecast Mark I? Yes, I do. Howard Chan promised us that. And you know Hot Toys never goes back on anything that they say that they'll do. I think they should do the Silver Centurion in diecast. I would hope that the reason we haven't had any more of the Hall of Armor, or the Iron Legion, or the Wine Cellar suits from 8 through 41 is because of the die-castness of them. Most of those suits are based off of the Mark VII. And the Mark VII die-cast is coming to us. It's obviously available for order. I think it's all sold out right now. I'm sure you can probably find someplace that's selling one. But I think that's what's holding us off. So I have a feeling, and I may be wrong, I have a feeling once that Mark VII diecast comes out, we'll see them re-releasing the others, the 8 through the 41 of those armors. And that is my hope, truthfully. I mean, as long as people are going to buy the figures, they're going to keep making them. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Even Blue Steel, of course, they are doing diecast. Yes, they are. And damn, that's some serious operation. And can you turn off the lights on this? Can we turn these off? Or are we talking about when I was turning on the other lights? I'm not sure which one you're referring to in that regards. Let's get this guy set up here with his little missiles on his arm. All right. So this is the right arm. I'm going to get my glasses to be able to read these. Normally they have an L and an R on them, so you know which one goes where. This is a L. We need an R. All right, so we have U, right? No. We have U. And that says L. So it must be this row. It must be all the R's. So they're in a row of them. The row closest to the edge is the L's, and the row closest to the figure stand base is the rights, the R's. Here's the little missiles. Me too, I would get them all on diecast. I'm with you. Mark 1 needs to come out prior to the House Party Protocol. You know, they re-released Mark 1 2.0, which is the one I have. I do not have the original Mark 1. I love the 2.0 Mark 1. It's a great piece. By the way, it's totally possible to press too hard on these pieces where the little doors are, where these little missiles. So be very careful when pressing those on, or you'll break those little doors off. So keep that in mind when placing these on here. And all this lights up. So there's a reason that you want to put these on there. See that? You light up all the little missiles on there. So it is a really cool thing to do. So that's why I'm going through this process. It's neat. It's really, really neat. Do be careful. Don't press on them in the wrong spot. Otherwise, you're breaking out the glue. No doubt about that. And even in the original plastic Mark IV and Mark VI, these little guys, they don't really stick on there that well on the arm. Same thing, even now with this die cast, they don't really stick on that well. So just take your time with it. This is definitely something you do not want to rush. Placing these pieces on, and just know that they pop off pretty easily. My plastic ones come off a lot, and even with the die cast, I've had them just pop clean off. So just take your time. I'm having some difficulty getting this guy together. Don't want to press too hard, but I want them on there. I have broken these doors off before, and I had to glue them back on. So trying to avoid this at all costs, if you can imagine. Just trying to get this last piece on, having difficulty. There we go. All right. So there they are. Put on there. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the light on to them. There's the little switch. Trying to feel it with my finger. Come on. There you go. So each one is lit up, believe it or not. A little difficult to see. We got the sun coming through the window over there. But they are. They're lit up. The blue light on each one of them. Which is canon to the movie when we see him light up in Germany, etc. He lights up there. And does the same thing under his chest. And right here will light up as well with the piece in the battery. So it's really, 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 really cool piece. So one of these days I will end up getting something from Soap Reactor or somebody who makes a little AC powered instead of the battery operated ones, and I recommend that. But and again, you know, I still don't think he's worth lighting up with a UV base. My own personal opinion. Just doesn't do it for me. If it was all black and we couldn't see the yellow stripes, that would be really cool. But they didn't choose to do that. So probably how he will be posed. Something to that effect as such. And then of course these pieces come off. You can put in them these little missile launchers here. Attached by magnet. Let's see, where are they? Should be right here. Should just be, yeah, there it is. Just right there in the front. Just peel it right up. Make sure I got the right one here. Did not. I grabbed the wrong one. Let's grab the other one. Simple as that. Little magnet. On the plastic one, it unfolds and pulls out, so it's not a detachable piece, whereas this one is. So there we go. There's my Mark VI Neon Tech Iron Man suit of armor without any juice to him from the ultraviolet lights. And that's probably pretty much how I'll display him. Something to that effect. And so let's see. So Advanced Suit this Spider-Man this Saturday. Hall of Armor next Saturday. War Machine Mark IV the Saturday after that. And King of Wakanda will be the Saturday after that. So that's my setup for the next few weeks. I think you're right. I think they will make all the rest of the armors. I'm certainly hopeful for them to make 8 through 41, and I really hope that they'll be die cast and they'll remake them. And I hope they remake the Mark II and Mark III as well, because they are, in my opinion, out of scale. And yeah, it's all about money grabbing, and of course, the Hot Toys is all about making the money, and that's why, in my opinion, they don't make all the villains, because nobody's buying them. I buy them. But you guys need to buy the villains. You got to support Hot Toys if you want Hot Toys to make your figures, right? Have you ever been able to pose an Iron Man figure in the landing pose? Yes, specifically the Iron Man Mark III and Mark II die casts. Specifically, the Iron Man Mark III die cast comes with an articulated waist, which allows you to do that specifically. So if you wish to be able to pose that figure directly in the superhero pose, I recommend tracking down an Iron Man Mark III diecast, be it the Stealth or the Red and Gold. They come with an articulated waist separate from the piece that comes with it. Actually, it's not articulated. It's a twisted waist, which is designed specifically to put it into the superhero landing. The Mark 42 does a pretty good job of it in its incarnation of how it is created, but not necessarily. The best one for it, if you want to do the superhero pose, like Deadpool talks about, bad on the knees, Iron Man Mark III diecast is the one that you want. And it doesn't matter whether it's the Red and Gold or the Stealth. If you want to do the superhero pose, that's the one to do it with, right there. That one really does it the best. And there's a guy in Hong Kong who has all the Iron Man suits, 1/6 scale, even the House Party Protocol suits, like Mark 31, Nightclub, etc. Terrence T, and I didn't think he was in Hong Kong. I thought he was in Singapore. I don't know where he is, but he's got them all. The only one he doesn't have is the Mark 37, which is the underwater one. I forget what the name of it is. Hammerhead, I think is the name of it. And he also does not have the Mark 16 Nightclub, because there's no suit for that. And then there's a couple that he doesn't have complete because they require the Mark 37 and the Mark 16 in order to complete them. But yeah, he's got them all. Terrence T. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. He's always posting. He's probably the most complete. He's got every single suit, the best of my knowledge, that they've ever made, multiples of. He's got the rare ones. I mean, the ones where they've only made just like 16 of them. He has those suits. And that dude has the ultimate collection. And I don't know what his real name is. It was Terrence T. I think it's how you can find him. And I think he's in Singapore. I don't think he's in Hong Kong. I've not seen somebody from Hong Kong that has them all. Which is the same thing. Yeah, which is what Terrence has done too. He made the ones. He had somebody make them for him to do all that. Just gave out the spoilers for the next 3 Saturdays. Yeah, I sure did. And Noble, how's it going, man? Welcome to the channel. So I thank all of you for joining me on this pseudo Saturday, because it is not Saturday, it is Sunday. And thanks for sticking with me. We had a hell of a lot of technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, and we survived it all. And then I had work interrupt me. And I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation of this figure. It's the same thing as the Mark 6 diecast. It's the same thing as the Mark 4 Neon Tech. It's the same thing as the Mark 4 diecast, because truthfully, the only thing different between the Mark 4 and the Mark 6, besides the paint scheme, is the arc reactor. That's it. Other than that, identical figures. And I bought it because I love it, because I'm a completist, and I'm going to buy them all. And it has the same articulations as all the other suits that were just aforementioned. And it is different than the plastic ones. And I've done reviews, videos of the plastic ones. And I don't remember whether or not I did a full-on review of the die-cast ones when I was making those videos. But that's where all of that is in that regards. And Siri, can you off the room? All the lights are off. They're all off. what we got coming through is the daylight. It's 9:42 in the morning. The sun's shining through the blinds. I can't make it totally black in here, but it does light it up. It does make it brighter on the yellow lights, but they really truthfully should have done it just like they did this guy. They really should have made it so you couldn't see that. They should have just made it black. You know what I mean? If they really wanted to take advantage of the neonness or the light reflectiveness of it through the UV lights, they really should have did it the exact same way they did the Black Panther here, which is here you see nothing. You see absolutely nothing. Nothing. You have the little silver on here from his his necklace or whatever, and decorations on his arms and his waist and his calves, and that's it. You don't see nothing. Then when you put him in here, boy, oh boy, oh boy, there's a whole another ball of wax at that point. If they'd done the neons like that, that would have been something special. But they didn't, for whatever reason, do it like that. So it's like the reveal's already there. You know what it's like? Imagine for 1 second, someone is giving you a gift. All right? Someone has bought you a gift and they gift wrapped it. And they gift wrapped it in cellophane clear plastic so you can see right through the wrapping. Even though there's a pretty little bow on it, and even though they may have little sparkles in the clear wrap, you can see right through it and you can see the gift inside already. What the hell? There's no reveal. You know what I mean? Here, I bought you a gift. Here's your little package. Nice little pretty ribbon on it, little bow, and it's all wrapped in pretty paper, and you unwrap the paper and wow, look what I got. Here's your package all wrapped up. You really can't see it. Wow, look what I got. Holy smokes, this is amazing. It's already there. It's already there. I'm already amazed by the color and the designs and the patterns. It's already there. Why they didn't do it like this? You know, I guess there just wasn't any forethought in that. Or maybe they couldn't. Maybe they couldn't paint it invisible. Or maybe it only would have been purple. Hell, that's fine. That would have been the 4, you know? And then they could have just done it that way. But they chose to do it the way that it is. So it's not an important, it just doesn't, there's no wow factor to it. It's cool as it is, which is fine too. I mean, I've got this guy wired so that when I turn the lights on for my Hall of Armor and my my display, all the lights come up and he comes on too, because he really looks the coolest like this. But I'm just not going to light these guys up like that. I just don't see the point in it. I really don't. It's just not. There's just no wow. You know what I mean? Holy smokes! Look at that. Where does that come from? You know what I mean? This is what you get. This is what it should be. You know? Look at that. That's what you should get. And we just don't get that. You can see the light over here shining on it, and it brightens it up. It makes it brighter, but there's just no wow factor to it. Already you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. It's still just as cool. Nothing changed. You know, there's no other real color that's coming out. So that's my opinion on that. So they just kind of fell short in regards to giving me that, wow, holy cow, look at that we got with this. So I intend to get this base. Like I said, Toys Wonderland makes or sells it. I'm sure there's other companies as well that sells it for my Thor, my Infinity War Thor over here, who lights up nicely. I'll do this. Show you that. That's, in case you've never seen that. He lights up nicely. His eyes and the lightning effect are pretty cool. Not as cool as Black Panther's, but cool enough nonetheless. So I'll show you that. So I definitely plan to get one for Thor. but I don't think I'm going to pose the neon text with this light. So let's turn the light on here for Thor. And I don't know if you can see or not, but his eyes light up as well. So the lightning effect shines on and his eyes reflect. And that's cool enough. You know, I like that. And of course, if you had him lit up, these also light up from battery powered. So these are the two, in my opinion, to light up. And they're doing the same thing with the Jake Gyllenhaal Mysterio, using this reflective lighting ability. But they're not going to give us a base, diorama base for it, but it's supposed to light up his chest, which they should light up the same way they did Thor or Iron Man. I don't know why they decided to only do the reflective. I think that's bull. They should really have done a light up chest, but they didn't. But so that is that for all of that. I also got a 3A Bumblebee too. Man, you know, I would love to get, you know what they never made? They never made a Bumblebee transformed statue robot of the first movie. There were two of them. There was the 1977 Bumblebee robot transformer, and there was a 2007 or the fifth generation Camaro transformer Bumblebee robot, and they didn't make either one in regards to a 3A figure / statue. And that's what I so want, because I own a 2010 Chevrolet Camaro Bumblebee Transformer Edition, authorized and through Hasbro Toys Camaro. I have a Bumblebee Camaro, so in real life, that I drive around. And I would love to be able to get one of those statues. They made one for Dark of the Moon, they made one for The Last Night, etc., etc. They just never made a number one Bumblebee, which would really be number two, because he transformed as a 1977 Camaro, and he transformed as a 2007 prototype Camaro, and they never made one. And I so badly want one. I mean, I so badly want one. You could probably take a Dark of the Moon one and customize it and make it into a 2010, and I'm just not qualified or capable of doing that. But if any of you out there are capable of doing that, I would be happy to buy it from you. I so badly want. And I'm not talking about, I've got the little guys. I've got a little MP10 over here, which is a pretty decent rendition of it under here somewhere that I've never opened up. I've got plenty of little Camaros. I've got a handful of the little guy transformer robots, you know, made by this company or that company. But I really want a 3A, or what was the other company that made them? Prime One Studios, I think, are the two that make the Transformers. I would love to have either one of those, but no one has made that very first Bumblebee Transformers movie, first Transformer movie that came out in 2007, using the 2007 Chevrolet Camaro prototype concept car. That is the Bumblebee that I want, because that's what I own, the 2010 officially licensed Hasbro product, CTH Transformer Edition Chevrolet Camaro. And that's the Bumblebee that I want. I'd love for them to make that. Thank you, Jason. I need to do my old reviews, right? Did you like Deadpool? You know, no one ever, that's the first time anybody ever commented on the Deadpool talking. Ever. None of y'all ever said nothing about, you know, my little Deadpool skits that I was doing. And so I just quit doing it. It was a little bit of a hassle, a little difficulty to do it. It took more time, and I enjoyed doing it, but nobody ever said anything. They never said good or bad. So I just quit doing them. So, man, if you like them, I'll go back into doing that. It was fun bringing Deadpool to life. Looks awesome. I would love it if the Neon Tech had the same feature. Right. Bring me Thanos. Right. No doubt. So I guess that's that. I'm going to let you guys go. Put my toys back, and go spend the rest of the day with my lovely, beautiful, wonderful wife, whom I love even more now after losing her and having her brought back to me than I did before, if you can imagine. And love your family or whomever it is that you love. Make sure they know. Make sure they know that you love them and need them. If you're with someone that you love, make sure they know that. Don't play that, oh, you know I love you. You better tell them, man. Because life is very fragile. And you definitely don't want them to pass not knowing where you truthfully stand. It's not a power trip, man. It doesn't make you less of a person telling somebody that you love them, especially if you do love them. And don't tell them you love them if you don't love them. That's just not fair. But make sure you share. And make sure you've got a living will that specifically states what you want someone to do for you should you get into that situation. Because it's really hard. And you certainly don't want to be put into a life scenario that you don't want to spend the rest of your life in that scenario. You know, if you don't want to be kept in a vegetative state, make sure your wishes are well known in advance. All right? Don't make the mistake of not having something, and next thing you know, you end up spending the rest of your life in a manner of which you would not be comfortable living. Whatever that is, that's your own personal experience in life choices that would determine what you consider a quality of life or not. And it makes it easier so your family doesn't have to make those decisions. Get your affairs in order. You never know what can happen to you. And I love all you guys. Thank you very much for joining me on this very special Sunday edition of the Saturday Weekly Live Unboxing and Review show. So I'm going to let you all go, man. I've had you all for 3 hours of fun and technical difficulties, and I hope you enjoyed the time that I had with you. This head looks messed up. Figure out what I did wrong to the head here. This Black Panther, he's a mess. He's really cool, interchangeable eyes and all that, but sometimes it's more hassle than not. Get that in there. So let's get him back in here properly. There we go. Because it's cool. You can either have his eyes as silver, or you can have his eyes as eyes. That's neat too. It's a really neat figure. I thought the original Black Panther was better, but man, when you turn on the lights on him, shoot, holy smokes. So I'll put my little toys back and end the stream. And then go spend the rest of the day with my wife at the hospital. Uh-oh. I dropped it down, didn't I? I thought I'd set that there. Oh, no, there it is. You know, it's funny, by the way, I came in this morning and Thanos and Mark 50 were fighting it out. They were on the floor. So, don't know what happened. Don't know whether Thanos attacked Tony or Tony attacked Thanos, but both of them were on the ground when I came in this morning. There we go. Let him set. Mark 6, so I have to make room for him here where he will go. With my Grails Mark 3 diecast Stealth, Mark 3 and Mark 4 Secret Project gunmetal, and Mark 7's Mark 6 diecast. I'll go back over here with Loki. Down here next to my Daredevil. I wish I'd gotten a Netflix Punisher. One of those pieces I missed on. I regret not owning now. I'll have to track that down. Always seems to be one piece you're always having to try to find, isn't it? Isn't that the case? So there we have it, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you all this Saturday. Spider-Man Advanced Suit. I'm excited about it. Got the piece right here. Still totally in the Big Bad Toy Store box. Don't want to open them up. Save it for you guys. But I know I'm going to love it. I know it. So have a good week. Love you.